Hey adventurers, so today is going to be another book review. This is going to be for Butcher, Baker, Candlestick Taker by Patricia Meredith. So this is a historical fiction, it's a mystery, it's also the first book in a series. I don't know how many, 12 book series I think she said she wants to write from it, something like that. But anyways, this is going to be my review for this book. So before I get into it though, I'd just quickly like to say if you're liking what you're seeing from an Erudite adventure, we'd really appreciate it if you would like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, so Butcher, Baker, Candlestick Maker is the first book of in the Spokane Clock Tower Mysteries, which is a series of historical mysteries set in Spokane, Washington, around the time and around the events of the building of the Spokane Clock Tower. This is a self-published series. I was sent the audiobook by the author Patricia Meredith, and obviously in exchange for an honest review. But since then, after I listened to it, I decided to buy it on Audible so that the rest of my mom and my sister could listen to it on Audible if they wanted to, but I also bought the physical copy, as you can see. That being said, I haven't continued with the other books in the series yet, of which I believe there are 3 currently out, and I don't know when the 4th one will be coming out. So I really enjoyed this book. I didn't really know what to expect when I went into it, which is kind of actually how I prefer to read books. I prefer to go into them basically knowing nothing about them, so that then I can judge the book based on what it is, not what I expected it to be or what I wanted it to be. Mystery as a genre is not actually one that I read a ton of. A lot of times that's because I have so much other stuff to read between fantasy and science fiction and historical fiction of other types. It's really hard for me to decide, oh, I want to read a mystery this time. So I have read them, and in the past I read a lot more of them. As a kid especially, I read a lot more mysteries than I do now. But I do enjoy mysteries. Sometimes I just don't tend to enjoy them as much as some of the other genre fiction that's out there. But I did want to give this book in the series a try specifically because I have talked to Patricia Meredith, and I have heard lots of things about this book from various people around my corner of the booktube sphere, and I think that I knew that it was going to be one that I would probably really enjoy. So I was excited to read this one. I've heard some people refer to this book as a cozy mystery, which I think that I agree with that, but at the same time I've heard some people also say that it's not a cozy mystery, so I don't really know, and I haven't read enough wide variety of mysteries to really know the difference between the subgenres, I guess is what they are. But I do know that I had a really good time with this, and it was the type of book that if it was the middle of winter, I'd be happy to sit down and just have a cup of tea and a blanket or something like that and just sit and read the book. And that's kind of, I don't really read that often because I don't have the time to, but it is enjoyable to sit and read like that. And this is the type of book that I would want to be reading if I were doing that. So this book is full of interesting and eccentric characters, but as a good author can do, that didn't stop them from feeling like real people. The things that were happening and the conversations being had are such that you could very easily hear them happening and existing in the real world. I think my favorite character is Archie, and from what I've heard, that's really not that unpopular of an opinion or uncommon of an opinion. One thing I always like seeing in books or in stories is the exploration of concepts. I like having a story to go along with them, but I like when people are willing to look into concepts a little bit, and there's all sorts of concepts that you can look into, but this one specifically, this book plays with some really cool mathematical and scientific concepts that I can't really get into without talking. Well, for one, I can't remember off the top of my head what exactly they were, because it's been 5 months or whatever since I've read this book now, but also they're concepts that, when brought up in the story, make sense with the story, and outside of it, they don't really fit, and that you can't really describe what's going on with them, but I did find them really interesting. And they're done in a way that is super easily understandable to a general audience, but for someone like me who understands a little bit more about math and science than I would. Like, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a mathematician, I'm not somebody super smart like that, but I have the ability to understand some of that jargon, I guess, if you want to call it that, but I can understand the way that math and science works a little bit, and because of that I can understand and kind of want the desire to see these concepts go a little bit deeper into them. See the exploration go a little bit deeper into the concept. It makes it fun for me to read about them and see, oh, this person inserted this type of concept into this story because they wanted to, and now I get to have fun with it as well. I wouldn't have minded a little bit more exploration of some of these concepts, but I think that perhaps since this is a series, that maybe in later books we will get some more exploration of the concepts, and that excites me as well. So one of the things that I've been noticing more recently is that it is the way that books wrap up, specifically how they end their stories. I see a lot of times books just kind of solving the mystery or getting to an endpoint and then just ending the book, and they don't have any time for reflection or following action or anything like that. And I don't love that. I actually like having the opportunity to sit back and take a look back to think back on the story that was told, to wrap up the story, not just to end it. And that's one of the things that I did notice with this book, is that there's it does end a little bit abruptly, but at the same time, knowing this is a series, I think that maybe as the series progresses, that won't be so much of an issue, because it's just one book into the next book into the next book type thing, and we don't actually get that ending until the end of the series. In this book specifically, though, there were a couple storylines that I felt were kind of just dropped off, and because they were important storylines, I do expect to come back to them in later books, but I wouldn't have minded just a little bit more exploration, or a little bit more to close out or to lead into into the next book in the end of this first book. Overall, though, I really did enjoy this book a lot. I just had a fun time reading it, and I thought the writing was good, I thought the story was good, I thought the mystery was good, and I'm looking forward to continuing the series, even though I haven't yet. Also, the narration, which was done by Rebecca Cook, was absolutely fantastic. I kind of suspected that it would be, because Patricia Meredith is married to Andrew D. Meredith, who wrote the Collation Saga and the Needle and Leaf series. Collation Saga, and I think Needle and Leaf is as well, but they're narrated by Andrew, and he does a great job. And so I was like, I didn't expect them to get somebody who wasn't going to do a great job for this book. And so, yeah, but it's really cool when you find new audiobook narrators that are just absolutely fantastic at their job. Thank you guys for watching an Erudite Adventure. We post videos every Monday and Thursday, and have our social medias linked in the description down below. We will see you guys again soon. Stay warm.